Good to see you. It's Ryan here, author on the book on digital marketing for plumbing and HVAC contractors, also the host of Blue Collar CEO. Hope you're doing good, staying safe, all those fun things. So look, if you've watched our videos for years, we try to put out a video a week on Facebook and on YouTube and just provide helpful tips for helping you grow your plumbing, your HVAC, your electrical, your home service business. And if you watch this for long, you know that we talk about more than marketing. Yes, marketing's our lane, like websites and SEO and PPC, that's kind of what we do. But we also try to provide more helpful insights just to help you build a better business in general, because marketing alone doesn't help you grow a business. You really do need kind of a well-rounded machine to be able to scale. So one of the things I thought I would talk to you about right now is something that I've seen a lot of chatter about, and even I've had some conversations with people about business contracts and agreements. So because this is one of those things that if in any business, you're going to have to enter into some sort of contractual obligation with some entity. It could be for real estate. It could be for purchasing a quantity of tools or material or vehicles. It could be any number of things. It could be for vendors, software services. So contracts are one of those things. And if you're a smart home services company, you know that contracts are important for your business because they help your valuation too. Because anytime you have these maintenance agreements on the books, they help give people who would potentially buy your business something of value that they would look for. So there's a lot of different types of contractual things out there. So I don't want to go into them. And also, disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer. I studied, like, I've got an MBA. I did some like legal sort of work when I was going through grad school. But really, I just want to keep this not about the nitty gritty of like legal advice, but really more of just helping you understand why they're there, how they're important, how to think about them, because they're an important part of our society, for better or for worse. And we could have different debates about like if our country relies too much on contracts or if we're too litigious. And I think all those are fun conversations. But in any case, here's the world we live in. So let's talk about it. So in general, a business contract is going to exist anytime like two parties. They could be a company to company. It could be a company to customer, whatever, where you're trying to do a couple things. One could be like just provide clarity on the relationship between the companies or the company and the customer. You're just trying to say like, here's the agreements, here's what we're doing, here's what you're doing, here's your rights, here's our rights. You're just trying to provide like fair guidelines to make sure everyone's on the same page. The other thing, it's just to provide an opportunity to avoid any sort of disputes, right? So for instance, if you hired somebody to come and do X, Y, or Z, but then they come in to do A, B, C, if that's written out in the contract, it's a pretty easy sort of thing. You don't have to like go to court. It's not he said, she said. It's pretty clear. Hey, you hired them for X, Y, Z. It's on the contract for X, Y, Z, but they did A, B, C. It also helps just prevent any sort of miscommunication, right? Everyone's on the same page. Everyone looks it over. No big deal. And if you have anything that's worth protecting, like if you have any sort of IP, intellectual property, if you have any sort of like assets that are unique, or any sort of confidential information or processes like trade secrets, it helps you protect those. But really, kind of that's the nature, right? So if you could be buying real estate, you could be leasing real estate. You've probably seen like on Facebook a couple months ago, there's a thing where a large software company, their kind of preferred time frame is they ask for 24-month contract terms for the clients that they sign up. And so this company decided, hey, they don't want to go through with it. So the software company is now enforcing the full 24-month contract term. These contracts are helpful for businesses because they help forecast earnings. They help forecast hiring. It helps them kind of understand what they can plan for and manage. And it helps them kind of just set the ground rules. And so I'm not aware of any company who doesn't make their terms available, especially if you ask in advance, right? It's not always just wait till after and go, oh, crap, what did I just do? It's just a lot of people kind of skip over. Think about like when your smartphone updates, it's like, hey, read our terms and conditions. Most people don't even bother. They just kind of like click, yes, I've said it, and move on. It's really important to kind of understand what you're looking for. So if you are a company that's depending on these contractual relationships, so let's pretend that you have a large sort of third party who refers a lot of business to you, that you depend on them for like, hey, a steady stream of work, and you buy equipment, you hire personnel, you do all the training, you're getting a sort of licensure you needed to complete the jobs. And then this company at some point says, never mind, we want to change our mind and go another direction. it puts you in a really difficult position, right? That even though you've done everything by the book of honoring the agreement, this other company just decides, hey, I don't want to honor the agreement anymore. Now we have this problem that's going to escalate. So really the whole idea is, for business, I don't care if you're a one-man shop, I don't know if you're a 100-man shop, understand the contracts you're entering into, understand why they exist and what they're outlining, and understand that they're real documents, that they're helpful for both parties. So a lot of times I think people get into these sort of contractual things and get into it for 6 months and then go, oh, well, never mind. I didn't really want the GPS. And then they're still wondering why that GPS provider is still wanting to bill them for the remainder of the contract term, because that was the contract term. If you were to purchase a piece of property, you couldn't get 6 months into your mortgage payments, be like, never mind. You're still committed to 6 months, like for the full duration of paying off that mortgage value. So really, it's just one of these things, guys. Understand the contracts. Contracts aren't evil. They aren't the end of the world. That's a natural part of business. But what will hurt you is if you don't understand why they exist, or if you try to change terms mid-cycle. Sometimes I see people want to hold the other people accountable for their terms, but they want to pretend like they're not responsible for earning their terms. And that's where you're going to see the break. Is right, like, oh, so-and-so, they should be doing X, Y, or Z, but I don't need to do X, Y, and Z for whatever reason. You're responsible for your terms, just like the other party is responsible for their terms. That's how the contracts work. Ideally, I would love to say that we live in a market space where people can just do word of mouth handshake agreements and just work through everything, and just have the best intentions. We've shown over the past couple hundred years in this country that's not often the case, and that's fine. But just know your contracts matter. Know what they mean when you sign up for them. Don't be surprised when a company needs to enforce the full terms of the agreement, because just like the example I gave earlier of another third party referring a lot of work and you needing to buy equipment and hire employees and do all the training and get licensure, like there's a lot of work and expense that this company incurs for fulfilling the contract. And if this company just decides, never mind, I changed my mind, now all of a sudden you created a problem that totally is preventable. So I would love to hear from you. I know this isn't the most sexiest of topics, but I know contracts sometimes get a bad rap, and sometimes I can totally understand the frustration. But knowing the importance of contracts and how to manage them well, and knowing what they mean when you enter into a business obligation like that, like what they mean, it's going to be the difference of you setting up for success and the difference between you like having a really difficult go. I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below. As always, guys, follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, listen to the podcast, and I will see you next time.